And it's Ken Kraetzer for Cadets Media in New York City. Tonight we were at the Story Council on Foreign Relations special event with the speaker being the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General C.Q. Brown, with moderator Michael Froman, the president of the Council on Foreign Relations. And General Brown's made one point very clear, that if there's going to be a conflict with an adversary, he wants to make sure it's an unfair fight. That was one of his, I would say, key points in this. He's working at bringing technology into the military and trying to get the technology that works out to the soldiers and sailors and airmen as fast as possible. And technology is a key part. He talked about trying to identify what the military needs are going to be 15 years out, what the military is going to look like, what jobs may not be necessary then that are today, and what fields do they have to recruit more, like data engineers. He felt recruiting is going well, but he's concerned about how do you inspire the next generation of military members. And he talked about trying and encouraging the military to engage with the community whenever they can. Talked a little bit about Ukraine. Michael Froman just back from Ukraine about a week ago, and talked about hearing about the possible use of long-range strikes for Ukraine to have the availability. But he also emphasized the 50 nations which are supporting Ukraine in their efforts against Russia. And the chairman, C.Q. Brown, always got to talk about Congress and getting funding approved. He said consistent funding so that they can buy munitions, buy planes, buy ships, everything else that the military needs relies on consistent, steady funding and avoiding continuing resolutions. We hear that all the time. Trying to, in a continuing resolution, you cannot start a new project, but you can continue to fund a project at the prior year's funding level. But you can't get an increase. And a lot of limitations, so they're hoping that a budget can be approved this year. Talk a little bit about the Middle East. He brought up something I was going to ask about. We've been following is the attack that was stopped by Iran on Israel in April, the 300 missiles, ballistic missiles, drones, and cruise missiles. And what a well-coordinated campaign that was. He's very proud of the work that U.S. military did working with allies and partners, of course, with Israel. Talked about China, and he said it's not just Taiwan, but it's how to deal with the People's Republic of China in the long term is a key. And then also a question came up of matching China efforts to match the U.S. On nuclear weapons. General Brown said, well, the U.S. is in the process of upgrading and modernizing its triad of nuclear deterrence. You know about the Columbia-class submarines, which are starting to be built, number one defense project, also the new Air Force bomber, and other elements of nuclear deterrence that's being upgraded right now by the U.S. military. A couple of questions came up about recruiting and diversity. And Joe Brown, who was an F-16 pilot, 3,000 flight hours, over 130 hours in combat, said, you know, when he pulls down his visor in an F-16, nobody cares except that can he do the job? And it was an interesting way to illustrate that point. Joe Brown talked several times about attack drones, how Ukraine is effectively using them, how adversaries might use them. And again, the idea of future needs and cyber and coding are areas that the military needs more expertise to join. I had a question about taking care of military families, and Joe Brown described a total force care program led by Troy Black. They said they meet regularly on this. How to take care of military families consistently across the various branches of service. Joe Brown said that it's a challenge with 70% of military members living in communities, living off of base. So another terrific evening at the Council on Foreign Relations. We very much appreciated being invited to hear the presentation of General C.Q. Brown, Jr., the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, former Air Force pilot, and a session that was moderated by the President of the Council on Foreign Relations, Michael Froman. Again, we appreciate being invited to attend this event. And this is Ken Kraetzer for CAM Vets Media. We cover cadets, midshipmen, the military and veterans proudly since 2008. Thanks for watching.